Hey guys, what is up? It is Dominic, and in this video, we're going to be discussing workflows inside of GoHighLevel. These are also very commonly referred to as automations. And in my last video, I did say I was going to make an updated version of this because yes, I've made one in the past and it did very well. But so many more automations have come out, so many different workflow styles, and that's why I'm back here again. We're going to be going over all of them, or at least as many as I can possibly do in one video. But before I begin, I know there are a lot of new faces in the GoHighLevel and SaaS community, so for anyone who doesn't know who I am, my name is Dominic Baptist, and I am actually the top affiliate in the world for GoHighLevel. I hold the longest #1 streak of all time, and I currently hold the single largest paycheck of affiliate commission of all time. And although I'm shifting a lot of my time and energy over to my new Discord, I am still grinding it out on GoHighLevel every single day. I help all my affiliates personally. You're not dealing with any virtual assistant, you are dealing with me every single time. And when you sign up with my affiliate link, you get all of my courses, my snapshots, everything that has helped my affiliates and my students become the most successful GoHighLevel affiliates of all time. If you look at the success rates of different affiliate leaders, I promise you, no one compares. And that's what I'm most proud about. Not the money, not the amount of affiliates, but the success rate of my students. So thank you to everyone who's been my affiliate since day one. And if you want to join that group, make sure you start that 30-day free extended trial in the description below. And you can start with my free course that's going to show you how to get everything set up. And also, if you haven't heard about my Discord FOMO, it is absolutely incredible. We actually just launched it recently. We just did a beta launch where we only let about 15 people in and it crushed. We immediately skyrocketed to one of the top trending Discords on WAP, and we've already got some amazing reviews. So much more is coming to that. And if you want to be an affiliate for the Discord and help me promote it, you're going to get 50% monthly recurring for everybody you bring in. Yes, you heard that correctly, 50% every single month. So shoot me a DM. I will help you every step of the way. All right, enough about me. Let's get into the automation section of GoHighLevel. I'm going to teach you everything that I can possibly teach you on this section. So if you're absolutely brand new to GoHighLevel and you have no idea what I'm talking about, well, workflows and automations are basically automations. You know, when you fill out a form and you get an automatic text message back from the dentist, or you pick a date on a calendar and you get an automatic email back, these are all automations. These are workflows, and they go way beyond just that. So let's see how crazy these workflows can actually get. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to automations. This can only be done inside of a sub account. So if you're in the agency view, you're not going to see this. And then I'm going to click on create workflow. Now they're going to give me a ton of different options to choose from. Look at all of these amazing templates that you can choose from. Now I'll be honest, I don't like using workflow templates. I think they just overcomplicate things and they don't help you learn. They don't help you build the automation. When you understand the automation, you know everything that could possibly go wrong and you know everything that could possibly go right. The other thing that I love about building my own automations, it means I don't need snapshots from other people. My least favorite thing that I hear throughout the GoHighLevel community is probably, hey Dom, what snapshots can you give me for this niche? It's so frustrating to hear this as a teacher because I know deep down that just means you guys don't want to learn anything and you think that getting a snapshot for the real estate niche is going to help you with all of your real estate clients. It's not true. You're going to have to tweak that. You're going to have to understand how that was built for you to make it work at all. So at the end of the day, snapshots are just a cheat code that really just cheat you more than anyone else. And that's why I always start from scratch. All right, let's start with the basics here. Every single workflow starts with a workflow trigger. A trigger just triggers everything below it to occur. So for instance, let's click on workflow trigger. And as you can see, these are all the different trigger events that we can do. And we're going to start at the top and work our way down. So the first thing that we have are LC premium triggers. Now, anything that you see with LC premium is relatively new. This was not mentioned in my last video. And so I'm going to give you a quick rundown right now. These LC premium triggers are basically things that you can upsell. You can make money on every single webhook click that you get. You can make money for the AI bots responding. You can make money on texts and emails. These are upcharges, upsells that you can do on the SaaS Pro plan. So I'm not going to break these down. They actually break them down right here when you hover over this little icon right there. And these are generally used in more advanced strategies with very established businesses. But in a nutshell, webhooks are basically what you would use Zapier for, or third-party softwares like Pabbly, where you're connecting a GoHighLevel workflow to another software or entity that doesn't directly integrate with GoHighLevel. For instance, if you did a webhook that was connected to Airbnb, then that's where this premium webhook would come in handy. But once again, pretty advanced stuff, so I'm going to leave that one out. Let's go down to affiliate created. This is also pretty new because the affiliate program inside of GoHighLevel, not the affiliate program for GoHighLevel, the one that you can create yourself inside of GoHighLevel, is relatively new. So now you can have a trigger for whenever an affiliate is created. So let me give you a quick example. Let's say I go out and make my SaaS agency and I get my first client, and that first client knows 10 other businesses that would love to sign up as well, but they don't want to give me those 10 businesses for free. They want to make something out of it. So I'm going to give them 20% monthly recurring commission for every single business that they give me. Well, then I have to create an affiliate program. So once I create that inside of GoHighLevel, I can then make a workflow that maybe sends them their affiliate link or sends them the commission or whatever it may be. I can now create an automation based off of that action. So there you go. That's the affiliate created trigger. And for anyone building an affiliate program, that's going to be your friend. The next trigger is based off of appointments. We've got appointment status and customer booked an appointment. These are very common. I've gone over these before in the last video, but I'm I'm going to cover them again, of course. So appointment status. This, of course, is an automation triggered by whether they showed up to the appointment or whatever the status of the appointment is. You can even filter it by type, which can be any type, normal, or a recurring type. Let's do normal. And then we're going to filter it down even more. We've got appointment status is, or we can do it by tag, or by calendar, or by modification. Let's do appointment status. Then select and check this out. We've got all these different statuses here for new, confirmed, canceled, showed, no showed, invalid. So let's say they no showed. What do we want to do when someone no shows on an appointment? Well, we probably want to remind them that they no showed and to set up an appointment again. So let's click no show, and then let's add another filter. A lot of times you're going to be adding more filters than you think. Most people would think this was just done. It's not done. You didn't even specify what calendar it's in. So let's click select in calendar, and then we would pick the calendar that we have. Obviously with this account, I don't have a calendar set up, but if I did, I'd pick the calendar that I want. And whenever somebody no showed on that calendar, I could automate everything else. I can automate a text, an email, whatever it is that I want to automate, I can automate that. I can build that in the action section that we're going to talk about later. And now let's move below that to customer booked an appointment. This is going to be based off a customer booking an appointment in general. So this would actually happen before the no-show, before the status. This would probably be the first trigger. So let's add a filter, select the filter, pick the calendar, and then once again, if we had a calendar here, we would choose that. This is a very basic workflow, the one that you're going to be using a lot for pretty much any type of calendar that you make. Whenever someone books an appointment, what are you going to do? You're probably going to send them a confirmation text or an email. And so there you go. That's pretty much it for customer booked an appointment. Then we're going to go down to the contact section. The first thing we have on here is birthday reminders. There's really not much to discuss here. This is a birthday reminder. It would go great for like restaurants or something that says, hey, whenever a contact has a birthday, toss them a happy birthday text, tell them they got a free meal or whatever it is that you want to do. And boom, there you go. That's the trigger. The next one is contact changed. Let me click that one. We're going to add a filter. And as you can see, we've got assigned user, DND, and tags. So this workflow comes in handy whenever you're changing a contact, especially on assigning users. Like for instance, let's say you have 5 employees and maybe those employees work in different departments. So someone texts or calls into customer support or to the main office, which is the secretary, hey, my car broke down and I need this auto part. The secretary can then go, oh, well, let me assign you to my auto parts dealer and then assign that contact to that department. And this would be the trigger event. So you could trigger that text message or email or whatever it is, the notification, however it is that you want to set it up, it can trigger that event to occur so that that contact gets in touch with that other person. I've actually used this quite often. It is very helpful when dealing with multiple employees inside of one sub account. You can also do this based on tags and do not disturb. So for instance, let's say someone says stop or leave me alone, don't text me anymore. Well, you could actually have a DND on there that says, hey, whenever they say stop, put them on do not disturb so we don't send any more text messages to them. And that could be a trigger event to the business that says, hey, leave this person alone, or whatever it is that you want to automate after that. So pretty cool. This one will come in handy a lot. The next one is contact created. This one will also come in handy a lot. You can actually create a trigger event based on a contact being created in general. Now, contacts can be created manually or automatically. For instance, if someone messages you on the chat widget or Facebook or Instagram or honestly anywhere at all, it will automatically create that contact. You don't even need this automation. You don't even need this trigger event to do that. The trigger event is based off the contact being created in general. So for instance, let's say I'm a customer. I go over to your website, I click on your chat widget and I say, hey, I need help with something. As soon as I press send, it's going to automatically create a contact for me inside of your GoHighLevel account. And then boom, we've got a workflow trigger based on that. So then you can create all the actions based off me being a new contact. For example, you could assign me to a new user. All new contacts get assigned to the secretary who then gets in touch with them. I'm just spitballing here. I don't know what you guys would do with it specifically. I'm just here to teach it. So there you go. That is contact created. The next is contact DND. DND stands for do not disturb. I kind of already covered this previously, but you can create a workflow trigger based on if they're on do not disturb. Once again, this could come in handy if you're trying to build a list or just organizing people who don't want to be disturbed. And then if we go down a little bit more, we've got contact tag, another one that gets used constantly, especially for people who use tags. For instance, let's say you're adding a tag whenever someone completes a sale. So the sale is completed, the tag name is based off the sale, and you want to create an automation based off that tag being added. Well, there you go. Now you can do it. And not only that, you can create an automation based off the tag being removed, which is something not a lot of people do, but I think it comes in handy too. Next on our list is custom date reminder. This is pretty important. I get a lot of questions based on this one, so let's go into it. This is just a trigger that you would add for any custom date that you want to be reminded for, but I believe this can also be set up in the actions, so I'm going to wait for the actions to kind of break all that down, but still kind of a cool trigger. The next we have note added. I actually don't use notes very often. I use task reminders, but a lot of people do like using notes. So if you want to add a trigger event based on notes being added to a contact, then there you go. That's where you're going to use note added and then add all the actions that you want to add right after that. And then of course, you've got note changed. If you're going to be changing notes on people all the time, or you're just a big note person in general, these two will come in handy for you. Then we've got task added and task reminder. These are the ones that I would be using very often because I love adding tasks. I think they're really cool. They come in handy so much, especially when you have a lot of tasks to do, like me and like a lot of my clients. So let me click on that one. You're going to add the filter, select, and tasks are usually based off of users, so you're going to assign the user. Of course, we don't have any on this account, but if we did, we could assign it to one of the users there, and that is your workflow trigger to send you a text or whatever it is that you want to do when you assign a task to a user. I'll give you a quick example. I do this for my Zoom calls. So if any of you guys order a Zoom call from me, I have a workflow called task added that sends me a text message and reminds me to get that Zoom call done. It also sends you guys a text and an email. So there you go. If you guys want to order a Zoom call from me, you're going to see this workflow in action. Task reminder is basically the same thing. It's just going to be a reminder for the task. Not as important as task added, but still there. Now we're going to come down to contact actions, where we've got one of the most important triggers you can possibly have, customer replied. So let me click on that one real quick. We're going to add the filter, select, and I know this seems like a lot. It is a lot, but let me break it down as simple as I possibly can, because that's why you guys come to my YouTube channel. I really try to make this stuff simple. I know there is so much information and it feels crazy and hard, but it's really not. So this workflow is based on a customer replying. Now, what exactly does that mean? Customer replying to what? Well, as you can see, we've got a lot of different options here. So let's start with contains phrase. We can actually put in the phrase that we think they would say, or that we want to put a trigger in for. So let's say the phrase is yes. And we can create a workflow trigger based off anyone who says yes. We can even add more filters. The next is doesn't have a tag. I'll be honest, I don't know where this would come in handy that much. This is basically for a customer who replies who doesn't have a tag. Seems pretty specific to me. I've never used it personally, so I'm just going to skip this one for now and go to exact match phrase. Now this one is exactly how it sounds. They have to respond with the exact phrase. So whatever you put the value in here, that's what the person has to respond with in order to enact the trigger and all the different actions. I'm not a huge fan of this one either, unless you have something specific that says, please respond with yes or no, or please respond with I'm interested, and you will get a text back, something like that. The next is has a tag. This is pretty similar to doesn't have a tag, except has a tag seems way more beneficial, to be honest. So this could be completely based off all the tags that you're using. Let's say someone has a tag called sale, and it's for anyone that's purchased that product or service in the past, and you want to do a workflow based on those people specifically replying. Well, then you can do that here. The next is intent type. So let me click here. And as you can see in the filter, we've got negative no or positive yes. It's basically going to take what they think is a negative action or a negative response versus a positive action or a positive response, and that's going to enable the workflow to do its magic. Now, this one's pretty commonly used inside of GHL, and you're letting the workflow do a lot of the manual work because now you can automate responses based off positive or negative intent. So there you go. That's intent type. And then lastly, we've got reply to workflow. So this could be based off just one single workflow. So for example, let's say you have a workflow for a chat widget or even a form on your website, and you want to create an automation based on if they reply to that workflow. Well, here you go. Now you can finally do it. That workflow can come to an end, but then be taken over to somewhere else. You can create workflow loops this way too. So this one definitely comes in handy and I recommend it. The next on our list is form submitted. This is the most popular and most used workflow trigger of all time. I have made countless videos and thousands of workflows with this trigger, and it is so simple to use. As you can see, you're going to add the filter, select the filter, pick the form, and that's it. That's all you have to do. It is whenever a form is submitted, that's going to trigger all the events to occur. So if you have a form on your website, you want an automatic text connected to it, boom, this is all you got to do. Right under that, we have order form submission. This is based off of a product. So for instance, I'm going to add a filter, select the filter. You can pick where the product is, whether it's inside of a funnel, which is usually where a product would be. You'd build a funnel, put a product inside of a funnel, promote the funnel, and then you can create a workflow trigger based on someone who bought that product inside of that funnel. Or you can do submission type, select, and you'll see it could be a bump product, an opt-in, a sale, or an upsell. All these different ways to create workflows based on products. This is just going to get bigger and bigger with the e-commerce industry blending into GoHighLevel. So if you have products, which you do, because that's how you're going to be selling GoHighLevel, then this is how you create those workflows. We also have orders submitted, which I don't really use too often because order form submission for me is pretty much the same thing as order submitted. But once again, this is all in preparation for their big e-commerce integration. So you can kind of use either one. I would probably stick with order form submission for now, just because that's what I've always used, but it's up to you. Next, we've got survey submitted. So for anyone building surveys, this is how you're going to build the trigger based on that survey being submitted. One thing I'd like to point out inside of forms and surveys, I know I don't have one in here, but when you add the filter and you picked the survey, so we can say survey is, you're going to pick the survey and then you can add even more filters based on the answers inside of that survey and based on the answers inside of a form. So you can actually create very distinctive workflows based on the answers that people give. Just in case anyone's wondering about that, a lot of the stuff that you guys don't understand or you can't see is usually just adding filters. So always add filters when using workflows. You'll find a lot of answers in there. Next on the list, we have trigger link clicked. Now, nobody really uses trigger links anymore. They were used way more frequently back in the day, 2, 3, 4 years ago. So if you're still one of those people that uses trigger links, then you already know what this is. So I'm not going to be covering it. The next is Twilio validation error. This could come in handy now more than ever with the new update. If you're validating numbers through Twilio and you have an error, then you can actually trigger that event right here. Now let's move on to events. We've got call status and email events. I'm going to click on call status first. And as you can see, we've got filtered down into call direction, call status, and in workflow. I'll be honest, I've never used this in my life, so I'm not going to pretend that I know what it is. I don't even use the call feature inside of GoHighLevel. I only use it for missed call text back, which just forwards to the phone that you're already using. But for anyone that's really big into the phone system inside of GoHighLevel, then you probably know exactly what this workflow trigger does, and maybe it'll work for you. And then next we've got email events. I've actually never used this one either. Whenever I'm doing any email campaigns at all, I do it in the actions section. So this could just be skipping that step. But don't worry, we're going to get to email campaigns very soon. So for now, I'm going to skip this one too. And then we've got Facebook lead form submitted. Now this one I'm very familiar with. So if I click on Facebook lead form submitted, I can add the filter, select it, click the form. And if I've integrated Facebook correctly and I've built an in-article form inside of my Facebook ad manager, then I will see that form right here. This definitely comes in handy when you're running Facebook ads. It is one of the best ways to run Facebook ads. By creating the form inside of Facebook, it means that the lead never has to leave Facebook to get in touch with the business owner. As marketers, this is awesome to hear, and you guys should definitely be using this trigger. Now we're going to scroll down here to membership category. I'm not going to go through every single one. I'm going to do like a light summary of each one because this is based off of courses. If you're building courses and you're building membership portals, then yes, you can use this, but they're all very self-explanatory. I mean, let's start with category started. This is when you have different categories inside of your courses. So you can actually create automations based on when people start categories. So for instance, inside of my course, I have a category based entirely off bonuses. So when someone starts that category, I know they're in the bonus section and I can send them an email or a text or whatever it is that I want to do because they clearly triggered that event. I can also do this when they complete a category. Now this could come in handy. For instance, someone completing all the categories in my course, I could then send them a second course. And then we get even more intricate when we talk about individual lessons. So now you can funnel it down even more for when they start and complete lessons inside of your course. And then next we've got membership new sign up. This is whenever someone signs up for the course. And we've got offer access granted and offer access removed. If you have certain things and qualifications that you want to automate, which involves giving them access to a course and taking away access of a course, then you're going to be using these two as your trigger events. Next, we've got product access granted. This is based off a product. A product can usually mean that it's paid. So if you have a paid course, you can give that paid access right there. Or even if you have a free course that's still a product, then you can do that here too. Then of course, below that, we've got product access removed. These are very similar to the offer access granted and offer access removed, except I'm pretty sure products can have multiple courses inside of them. And usually an offer is just one single course. Next, we've got product started and product completed. Once again, these are pretty similar to category and lesson, except it's the entire product itself. And then lastly, we've got user login. For when someone logs in, you can actually automate something like, hey, thanks for logging in. I'm not really sure. I wouldn't really use this one. I'm not really sure what you'd use for that. When people are logged into a course, they pretty much know what to do. But just in case, if you want to automate that, you can do it. Now we're going to move down to opportunities. Now, if you use opportunities, then you are going to be using these a lot because trigger events for opportunities are basically the only way to use opportunities. So for instance, an opportunity status change, let's start there. We're going to add the filter, select, and there are a ton of different options here. Most opportunities are assigned to a certain person. So when an opportunity status changes, if that assigned user changes, then that can be the trigger event. Same thing with tags, certain pipelines, lead values, moving from a status or moving to a status. All of these different things, all of these different filters can be trigger events to trigger so many other things to occur. So if you guys are using opportunities, then you're definitely going to want to explore the opportunity status change. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I do have videos on pipelines and opportunities in general. But basically what'll happen is, let's say you're running a marketing campaign and every time you get a new lead, it creates an opportunity. And for instance, let's say the lead value, so the value of that lead is $1,000. Maybe it's $1,000 program or $1,000 this or that, whatever it may be. That's the value of the lead. Well, you can actually have different stages in that pipeline, whether that stage is cold lead, warm lead, booked appointment, or even a sale. These are all different stages that the lead goes through. And with this workflow trigger, you can trigger different events to occur whenever that status changes. Let's say they start as a cold lead, but then they book an appointment. Well, that's a status change. So what do we want to do? We want to send them a text message. And how do we trigger that? Right here. Well, we'd move them to a different status. Now, an opportunity status is different than a pipeline stage. So for instance, if we go move to status, you can see over here and select, that's abandoned, lost, open, or won. These are the different statuses that we have. So let's say we win an opportunity. We get the sale and we change the status to won. Well, that can trigger something like a review. So now we can send a review request. So many different things that you can do with status changing, and it's all going to be done right here. Next, we've got opportunity created. This is also going to be very important. So whenever an opportunity is created, you can use that as a trigger event. And once again, we've got a bunch of fields here. Assigned to, has a tag, in pipeline, lead value, or status. You can base it off any of those filters and trigger a bunch of different events to occur whenever an opportunity is created. Next, we've got opportunity change. We're going to see very similar filters down here. And of course, this is going to be based on if an opportunity ever changes. Like for instance, if a status changes. So if a status changes from something to lost, then that could be our workflow trigger. Now this is pretty specific, but it could come in handy. And then we've got pipeline stage change. This is very handy. And if you're big on pipelines and opportunities, you're going to be using this one very often because that's exactly what opportunities are supposed to do. They're supposed to go through pipeline stage changes. So if I add the filter, I select, and let's say I put in pipeline and then I select the pipeline, which of course I don't have one, but if I did, I could filter it down even more and pick the stage that it is changing to. This is really important because if you have multiple stages, you might want to automate that contact through those stages, whether that's automatic text messaging or emailing or whatever it may be. It keeps it very organized and automated. And then lastly, we have stale opportunities. Now, I honestly don't even know what this is. I've never used stale opportunities. I'm sure it's when a lead becomes stale, and then you can filter it down with a lot of the same different standard fields that they already have. So I'm not going to really weigh in on this one. Now we're down to payments. Now this is a little bit different than products. Products are different than payments. Payments are going to be for invoices and payments received. These are completely different than if you're going into the products tab like we usually do and you create the products right there. Or if you create the products in Stripe directly. That's not exactly what this is. This is if you're creating invoices inside of GoHighLevel. Then you can do automations based on those. So this right here is much different than this right here, order form submission, which is what I'm used to doing. So if you have a product, you can do an order form submission and have them pay there, and that can be your trigger event. So make sure you don't get that confused with payments down here. Next, we've got Shopify. So if you guys are integrating Shopify, we've got abandoned checkout, order placed, and order fulfilled. These are all extremely self-explanatory, so I'm not going to break them down. And then we've got media, which is video tracking. This is pretty cool. This is based on how long someone watches your video. You can actually track the video length and use that as a workflow trigger. Pretty cool. So if someone watches 20% of your video, that can trigger a bunch of events to occur. And then lastly, we've got TikTok form submitted. This is the exact same thing as Facebook form submitted, except it's just when you're running TikTok ads instead. So there you go, guys. That's every single workflow trigger that you can possibly do inside of GoHighLevel. Hopefully that wasn't too insane. We're about to get a little bit more insane with the actions because there's even more than the workflow triggers. But as long as you understand the basic of triggers, then actions should just be the fun part. So once you have your workflow trigger picked out, now we're going to move on to the actions tab where we're going to pick which actions that we want to do based off that trigger event. So let's click plus, and we're starting with the LC premium actions right here, which is what I brought up in the beginning. These are premium actions. These are things you can only get on the SaaS Pro model. They have these little golden crowns. It means you can make money on them. You can upsell these, Workflow AI, ChatGPT, custom webhooks, Slack now, Google Sheets. You can make money on every single action that occurs from your clients. So I'm not going to go super in depth into these because most people probably aren't ready for them. And the people that are ready for them, they already know how to use them. So let's scroll down here to the external communications where you're going to see your most commonly used actions. Send email and send SMS. These are going to be used more than anything else. Let's start with send email. As you can see, it's pretty basic. You got the from name, the from email, the subject. You can even put in custom values for all of these. And we've even got templates down here. If you already have something that you built, then you can just use the template. Or you can come down here and you can write your message. And we can save the action, and as you can see, a nice little blue email section pops up, and this just means that an email is going to be sent out whenever that trigger event occurs. Now let's click plus again, and let's do the same with SMS. You can either use an SMS template, or you can just type it in here, and you can save the action, and there it is, SMS. Let's click plus one more time, and we're going to do the call feature. So as you can see up here, if the contact has been assigned to a user, this event will call the user and play a whisper message, which means we can type in any message right here, and that is what the robot voice will say inside of the call. Now this doesn't directly call the customer, this calls the user. So this is actually going to call one of you guys, and then all you have to do is dial any number and it will call the person that's supposed to call. That way they know that the assigned user is ready for this call. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, just test it out. Next, we've got voicemail. So this is where you can actually upload a file and send out a voicemail. Pretty simple, pretty standard. If you're into voicemails and you want to automate them, there you go. Next, we've got Facebook Messenger. This is super cool. You can actually automate Facebook messengers inside of Facebook. Same with Instagram DMs. And then down here, we've got manual SMS and manual call. I'll be honest, I never use these two. I just use these two up here, but be my guest. And then at the bottom, we've got GMB messaging, which is of course Google My Business messaging. If you guys don't know about that, you should definitely get a Google My Business integrated with GHL, and you will find out very fast what Google My Business messaging is. It's pretty awesome. It's a way where customers don't have to put in their information to get in touch with the business. They can just message you straight from Google, and then you can automate that message right here. See, Google My Business right there. Next, we're going to come down to the affiliate actions, where you can add to the affiliate manager, update the affiliate, add to an affiliate campaign, or remove from an affiliate campaign. So these are the actions that you can do inside of that affiliate manager portal that you can build within GoHighLevel. Now, once again, this is not the affiliate for GoHighLevel. This is the affiliate campaigns that you can build for your clients. So if you want your own affiliate program, these are all pretty self-explanatory and you can automate all of them. Now, scrolling down, we've got CRM. This is where the list gets a little bit long. So I'm going to come back up to the top here and let's break them down. First one is going to be add contact tag. So if you ever want an action that adds a tag for you, this is your guy. The next one is remove the tag. And then we've got create and update opportunities. This one's very important because, for instance, if you're running a Facebook ad campaign and you want to create an opportunity based on the leads that you get, this is the action you're going to use. So our trigger event would be a Facebook lead form submitted, and then we would create an opportunity as the action. We'd select the pipeline, select the stage of the pipeline, create the opportunity name and the source, which would be Facebook, and then we put the lead value in if we knew it. Most of the time we won't know it, so we probably won't put it in. Next on the list, we've got add to notes. So if you want that action to add something to your notes, then you can automate that. You don't have to type in the notes every single time. I used to do this a lot in real estate because I would run multiple ad listings and I wanted the real estate agents to know which ad it was coming from. So I would add it to the notes so they could click on the contact and find out exactly which listing that person came from. Next, we've got assign to user. Almost all of my workflows have assigned to user. Now, of course, I don't have any users here, but if I did, I would definitely be using the assign to user for almost every single workflow. This is super important because if you have 3 or 4 employees or just 3 or 4 people in the same sub account, how does the workflow know who to send the text to or know who to send the internal notification to? They don't. They're going to send it to everyone. If you don't want it sent to everyone, then you pick the user. So that's where assign to user comes in handy, and you guys will be using it a lot, and it'll probably solve a lot of the problems you think you have right now. Next, we've got remove assign to user. So if you ever want to remove an assign to user, you can do that as well. Then we've got set event start date. So this one's pretty important if you have any events that you're doing, and here are your 3 different type of events. You can do a custom field, a specific date and time, or a specific day. So let's do specific date and time, select the date, and you can actually build an action based off a certain day. So if we want to do a September 20th action, we can change the time to 12 p.m. I'm going to change the time here to 7 a.m. and save the action. So now we've got set event start time. This action just set an event start time. So now I can click actions again. I can type in wait, which is something that you're going to use very often. And instead of time delay, I can click on event appointment time. So wait until before or after event start time or appointment time. So now I can say wait before this event or wait after this event. And I can put the months, days, hours, minutes, whatever it is. And I can send out a text or an email or whatever I need to send out based off this event start time. I get this question a lot. I know it seems kind of weird. Why do you need both of them? But it's actually not that hard. I've used this very often. Another thing you're going to use wait for is pretty much everything. Whenever you're waiting for an action, you're going to click on time delay and you're going to choose how long you want to wait for each action. So if I send out a text message and then I want to send out a follow-up text message 5 days later, I'm going to type in 5 and I'm going to change minutes to days. Then I'm going to save it. We're going to wait 5 days and send out another text. And if I'm feeling really lazy, I'm going to click these 3 little dots at the top right and click copy the action, scroll to the bottom and copy it right there. Then I can change the SMS to a follow-up message. And boom, couldn't have been simpler. Save the action and we're done. And I can keep on copying these wait and SMS until I have a full follow-up campaign. The next we have add to workflow. So if you have multiple workflows and you want to add someone to one, then this is the action that you're going to choose. Next we've got remove from workflow. This is also pretty common. And we've got remove from all workflows, which isn't as common, but it's a nice little touch. Then we've got remove opportunity. If you want to remove a certain opportunity from a contact, you can do that right there. And here we have send internal notification, extremely important. So whenever you see these emails and SMS and Google My Business and these nice little blue ones, these are not sending to the user, they're sending to the customer. But when you see send internal notification, this is sending to us as users. So if we get a lead and we want to be informed of that lead, or our clients want to be informed of that lead, we're going to be using internal notification to inform us. Now there are 3 different types of notifications. There's an email, an actual notification, and an SMS. So if you want to get an email every time you get a lead, then you can choose email. If you want to get a notification like you do on Facebook or Twitter, then you're going to do notification. And if you want to get an SMS every time someone does something, then here you go, you're going to choose SMS. You can either choose all users, assign user, a custom number, or a particular user. For right now, we're going to use all users, and we're going to say, hey, you have a new lead. And we're going to click save action, and boom, nice little green internal notification pops up, and you know that is going to you as the user or whoever you assigned it to. So very important. I get this a lot. People will do SMS. They'll be like, I'm not getting the SMS. Well, obviously, the only person that gets the SMS is the one that filled out the form. If you want to get something as the user, then do internal notification. So there you go. Hopefully that cleared up the air for a lot of you newbies. Next on the list, we've got enable and disable do not disturb. Do not disturb just means they won't get any more texts or emails. This is usually attached to some type of unsubscribe link, or it's based on a response like stop or no. Next, we've got edit conversation, which I don't use very often, but this is an action that can actually edit an entire conversation. And then here we've got send review request. So if you're going to send out a review request based on the integration inside of Google, then you're going to use this action. I don't really use this action very often. I usually go straight to my Google My Business, I copy the link, and I put it into an SMS like up here. I don't really use the send review request option. And the reason is because every once in a while I'll have some glitches. Sometimes the reviews don't go through, but when I go directly from Google and get the link, it works pretty much every single time, and it's just easier that way. So that's my opinion. That's what I use. But next here, we've got Stripe one-time charge. So let's click that one real quick. As you can see up here, it says trigger a charge in Stripe for a fixed amount to a specific customer in your Stripe account. Now, yes, this is extremely specific. I mean, you need the customer Stripe ID right here. I personally have never had to use something this specific, but if you feel that you need it and you want to automate this action, by all means, go do it. Next, we've got update appointment status. This is used very often as well, because with appointments, you're always going to have statuses, whether they show up or whether they don't. So if I click select, we've got new, confirmed, canceled, showed, no show, invalid, and we can create an action, and this action changes that status for us. So if someone does show up, we can click showed. So if you're big on appointments, you're going to be using this a lot. Next, we've got add tasks. Now, this is something that I use a lot. I told you guys earlier, I love tasks. I use them for all of my appointments, and this is the exact action that I use when setting up those tasks. So let's click add task. The first thing I'm going to do is title the task. I can even use a custom value for this and put in the contact's full name. So the name of the person can be the title. The description can be Zoom call or something like that, whatever I want to do. Then I can assign it to myself, and I can even do a due date. Say it's due in the next 5 days. Then I can save the action, and I'm good to go. And that way I can go into my phone, see all of my tasks for the day or the week or whatever it is, and make sure I don't miss any of my calls. So that's why I'm a big fan of these. They keep me organized and they keep me busy. Next on the list, we've got AI appointment booking bot. This is relatively new. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I think I'm going to be making a video with GoHighLevel on this. They've got a lot more coming out with this AI appointment booking bot, which is similar to the Eliza bot. So I'm not going to talk too much about this just in case that video is coming out soon. And we're going to go down to Google Analytics, which also I'm not going to talk about because this is for people that are integrating Google Analytics or their Google AdWords. Then yes, you can just use this action to add them to those. Next, we've got update contact field. I'm going to add the filter down here, select the filter. And as you can see, these are all the different things that you can change inside the contact, and you can update them with this action automatically. So for whatever reason, if you need to update certain things inside of that contact field, this is how you do it. Then down here, we have 3 different Facebook options. We've got add to a custom audience, remove from a custom audience, and then finally conversion API. These are for people who are very into automating their Facebook ads. I'll be honest, I don't even go this far in depth. I would just do these manually, but if you want to automate them, there you go. Those are the actions. Then down here, we have update custom value. So if you guys have a bunch of custom values, you want to update them automatically, you can update your custom values based off of trigger events that occur. I'm not really sure where this would come in handy. As you can tell from this video, I personally don't use 90% of the things in the automations tab. I love that they have them. I'm really appreciative that they have them just in case I will ever need them eventually. But when dealing with clients, a lot of it's just simple stuff. Sending out automated texts, emails, connecting to Facebook, maybe having different events and calendars. And if you really want to experiment with opportunities and pipelines, using those. But honestly, most of you won't even be using 90% of the actions that you see here. So hopefully this video opens your eyes to that because you don't even really need to know all this. But it's still nice to get a refresher and know that it's there. Scrolling down here, we've got membership actions. So this is based on a membership grant offer, and this one's a revoking offer action. If you want to build automations for your courses that you're building, then you would use these two to grant the offer and revoke the offer. And then finally, we've got conditions and workflows. This is where automations get intense. When you start working with the if else or the go to or math operations, it can get pretty crazy. I know a lot of you in here have seen workflows that have crazy tree diagrams and they're going in all different directions. Well, that's what this is. So let's click on if else, and I'm going to go down to segments, and you're going to see all these different segments. And so I'm not going to break down all of these because it can get very intense, but this is where you can create conditions that are like, if they respond with yes, then do this. So they definitely come in handy, and I understand why people use them, but this is honestly something I should make an entire video about because it could go so in depth. I mean, there are thousands of different ways that I could create conditions and operators. It's pretty wild. And like I said previously, if you guys are this far advanced inside of workflows that you're working on if else conditions, then you probably don't need my video tutorial on it. And then of course we have the wait time. We already went over that one, so I'm going to skip it. We've got webhook, which now we have the LC webhook, but if you guys want to go back to the original webhook, you got that here. This is what you'd use if you had like Zapier or Pabbly. We've got the go to section, which once again is a little more advanced, kind of goes with the TFL section, so I'm going to skip that one too. Math operations, I don't even know what this one does. I don't think I've ever even seen it used inside of GoHighLevel. And goal event, same with that one. It's been in here forever. I've always seen it down there. I have no idea what it does, so I'm not going to beat around the bush here. 99% of the people watching this probably won't use most of these, and I'm not here to confuse any beginners out there, so hopefully that wasn't too crazy for a lot of you guys. I just wanted to make an updated version of this that really breaks down the workflow section and screams into a lot of your heads that you don't need all this stuff, that you can get by on 4 or 5 different automations for hundreds of different clients. Just being able to automate text and emails, that's huge. A lot of businesses need that stuff. So understand that premise, know how to go into a business, fix their problems, set up automations, and you will understand why I'm so passionate about the simplicity behind GoHighLevel. Don't let all of this scare you. It's not that scary. You don't need to know it. You won't even need to use most of it, and if you do need it, well, it's still right there for you to use. If you happen to be watching this video around Christmas time or New Year's, then congratulations, you have an amazing deal right here. Whether you're an existing customer or you're brand new to GHL, you're just trying to get started, you want to start that free trial, well, congratulations, check this out. So this is for people who have not started GoHighLevel yet. As you can see, we have a 50% off for the first 3 months. Yes, that is 3 months. Now, if you've watched any of my videos in the past, you know I always tell people to give it at least 3 months to figure out if GHL is the right fit for you. So this is an amazing deal. If you're brand new, definitely do this. You can do the starter plan for $97, $297, or $497. Of course, we're cutting that in half. So you're going to get it for $248 a month, $148 a month, or $48 a month. Crazy deal. It looks like there's only 2 days left on this deal, so definitely check it out right now and make sure to take advantage of it. And then if you already have a GoHighLevel account, then you can do the year-end special, which is going to give you some amazing deals. You can even scratch these things open right here, these little presents at the bottom. So this one was 40% off for the 1-year annual add-on bundle. Let's check this one out. We've got 50% off for the 3 months monthly add-on bundle. And then the last one right here is going to be 16% off for months for the pro plan, which I believe is if you get the annual plan, then you get 16% off for the entire year. Also a great deal. So you get all 3 of these deals. You can claim any of them that you want. And once again, this is for existing customers. The other one was for brand new customers. And then of course, if you just want to start with a 30-day free trial, you don't want to pay anything, you just want to see if this is for you, you guys can use my 30-day free trial link in the description below. And once you are my affiliate, you of course get access to my second course, which is going to have a white labeled onboarding for all your clients so that they can learn how to onboard themselves. It also covers Facebook ads, so there's that too. I'd like to point out that I'm adding more to these courses and even refining my original course. If you guys have not seen my original course, it's completely free in the description below as well. So I highly recommend checking that one out. And with all that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.